Sports. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's how we roll. It's wins and losses, highs and lows. It's effort, respect, and dedication. The High School Sports Beat. Sports. It's who we are.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on the High School Sports Beat. I am Dave Yates. We begin our look at Section 5 sports in Penfield with the girls basketball team led by Mark Vogt. The Patriots made a statement earlier this season when they beat number 1 ranked in the state, Pittsford Mendon. For Penfield, there's still more work to be done, and the time is now. Here's Paul Gotham.
Not really, but try and get left. Okay, time. You got to put 3 steps up. Okay, you should be able to recover. All right, go.
The Penfield Girls Basketball team opened the 2018-19 season 14-0. That undefeated run is fueled by a defense that is among the best in Section 5.
This is a very good defensive team, and we looked at the last 17 years, and our best teams all held opponents to an average of under 40 a game. And last year in the semifinals, we scored 68 points and lost because we didn't get stops down there. And so we knew that if we're going to be successful this year, we're going to press, we're going to pressure you. Our goal is to wear you down and, go on runs. But
how good is Penfield's defense? Opponents are scoring less than 37 points per game against the Patriots. Mark Vogt's squad has held 5 of its first 14 opponents under 30 points.
If you're holding varsity teams to under 40 points, and I think right now we're giving them about 38, and the kids want to get it down to about 35, we got kids who like defense. And the style we play with the run and jump and up and down, it's fun for the guys.
Penfield starts with an up-tempo style, led by an experienced group including seniors Breanne Moxley and Nina Nesselbush, as well as juniors Bailey Teal and Nyara Simmons. This group brings with it a defensive-minded attitude.
Okay. It's from the bottom, it's from me, so the top.
Our offense definitely feeds off our defense because you can have bad shooting games, but your defense is always going to be there. And I think that we do so good and we hold teams so low because we have this mentality to not let anything bad happen to our teammates and always protect them.
I think we're all very passionate about defense. We all buy into our roles. We have realized that our offense comes from our defense, so we all just work very hard on defense. Our communication is always there, which helps. We always know when there's a backdoor, when someone needs help on a backdoor cut, anything, we're always there.
We learn to love defense. I mean, we know that's what we do, and that's something we take pride in. It's the little things. Defense can never have a bad day. So, I mean, whether or not our shots are falling in, we just know, defense is what we do and what we can rely on.
I think that everyone just buys into the defense. We know Coach really talks to us about defense, and everyone buys in and communicates, and that really makes us successul.
We never want to play 5-on-5. We want to create offense off our defense and play 3-on-2, 4-on-3, 2-on-1s. And so I think that's fun for the girls, and that's kind of been the philosophy here for probably the last 12 or 13 years.
One word to describe Penfield's defense: cacophony. The clatter of voices directing each other on the defensive end of the floor.
All of our teammates trust us. I mean, if we don't have the talk, you won't want to pressure the ball because you don't know if the 4 defenders behind you are in the paint ready to help you. And if the talk's not there, it's weird. It's not. It's quiet in the gyms, and we don't like quiet gyms. We always have confidence in each other because our communication is so good. So I don't even think we really think about how we're risking it because we know our teammates are there for us.
Communication piece is huge. I mean, in practice, at times, if we have breakdowns on communication, we can see how there was a breakdown on defense, how there was a wide open girl. But when we do communicate, that doesn't happen as often.
If you can creep out a little bit, obviously, when she's got the ball there, she's coming right down this lane, so we really got to hold that spot, and I think we can get out.
We talk a lot on the court, and I think we have a saying, communication ends confusion, and that when we're playing our best defense, you'll hear it out there before you see it.
You could say the defense has been passed down through the program.
Well, watching the older kids buy in, Michaela Wilson was an incredible defender. The girls in 2016 was the best defensive team we ever had. These guys all watched them. Bree was on that team.
What is it about your group that allowed you to do that?
I think growing up in this program makes you realize how important defense is, and that it's a lot more important and consistent and reliable than offense that a lot of other teams don't realize.
With sectionals 2 weeks away, Penfield is keeping its focus on the next game with an eye toward the championship.
I mean, we have a saying, the battle is won before it's ever fought, so I think we take a lot of pride in the preparation we have, and with our coaching staff, the game plans we have are amazing, and I think we all just sit there and we focus, we study film, and no matter what happens, like if it change in the game, calls a timeout, and we adjust it right then and there, and I think the team is kind of veteran, so we're able to do that.
Oh, you got that! Go!
We're pretty experienced, and I think I've said it before, our 5 starters have a combined 18 years varsity experience. So they've been around, and there's not too much that's going to surprise them. We've seen box and ones, we've seen triangle and twos. Tomorrow we're going to see a 1-3 zone defense with a chaser on Bailey or Bree. So, these guys have been around, and so they understand. They know when things break down, play basketball, and they do that well together.
From Penfield High School, this is Paul Gotham with the High School Sports Beat.
Move that
back! Coming up, Paul is back with the Dunkin High School Notebook. We've got that and more when the High School Sports Beat returns.
Get 2 for $2 egg and cheese wraps, 2 for $4 bagels with cream cheese spread, and 2 for $5 bacon, egg, and cheese croissants with Dunkin' Go-Tos. America runs on Dunkin'.
And welcome back to the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. It is time now for the High School Notebook, brought to you by Dunkin'. America runs on Dunkin'. And as always, we're joined by Paul Gotham from PickandSplinters.com. Paul, what do we got on the website this week?
First weekend in February means we're getting closer to sectionals. Crazy to think that in 2 weeks from now we'll be talking about sectional seedings and the matchups and how everything looks from there. We got Trabs Gabs are always there. Matt Trable will be running his wit and wisdom on Pick and Splinters for all the basketball fans.
So, Paul, January turns into February. We kind of, in this last week, got to look at maybe what some of the top contenders and top showdowns are going to be come playoff time.
It was the week that started with the OOP Herd Round 585, and it ended with Eastridge getting a signature win, and Eastridge playing like the team that we thought they were going to play. But it was midterms week, and it was played in front of standing room only crowds. It was a great thing to watch. At one point, Saturday night at Eastridge, lead official Mike Gentile comes over and talks to me. He's got a smile on his face. He says, "It's so much fun to referee." This is an official. It's so much fun to referee in front of standing room only crowds. Props go out to Rochester for getting out there. Kidrell Blocker with the alley-oop from DeAndre Dixon started the week. Our very own John LeConge grabs that on video. And if you haven't seen it yet, welcome back from your vacation in the tropics, a deserted island without any wireless connection, and you should go and see that. But Kearney gives East a great test, and it kind of left us all thinking that maybe Kearney is going to start playing a little bit better. They let us down later on in the week, but that's okay. Then you have McQuaid in East, again another standing room only crowd, and McQuaid put the hammer down on East a little bit, jumped out to a 20-point lead, then held them off later on. Eastridge, Tony Arnold, Jalen Rose-Hanna, Terrence Reed, getting it done against Irondequoit in a win that was almost pulling away late at the game. Now, granted, Irondequoit was playing without Patrick Thomas, but still, it was a double-digit win, and there were a couple times I thought it was going to stretch to almost a blowout at times there. But great win for Eastridge and Dan Roser and his crew.
Let's talk about another game that was a classic as far as comebacks, overtime, had a little bit of everything.
It didn't get played in front of a standing room only crowd, but Monroe and Wilson. And Monroe has put together 4 straight wins. They're 11-4. Of their 4 losses, 2 are to East and 1 is to Northeast Douglas, state-ranked teams. And against Wilson, they're down 7 with 34.4 seconds to go. And if you can imagine this, they ended up tying the game. And then Jamar Williams in overtime gets the winner on a shot that's, 1/3 runner, 1/3 floater, and 1/3 just get it done. And I asked him after the game, and he kind of shook his head. I don't know what kind of shot it was, but that's the type of win a team like Monroe. There's certainly not a lot of people talking about Monroe, but when you win a game like that, that could be the sort of thing that catapults you in February and gives you that confidence because you're in the huddle and you're saying, we are down 7 with 34 seconds to go and we won a game. We can do this whenever we want. And it's someone, Matt McCormick's group, you're going to have to watch out for them in February.
It's a great time of year to be a high school basketball fan, isn't it, Paul? All right, great stuff as always. We're back with more of the High School Sports Beat right after this. Coming up next, the Making the Grade nominee with Kim. And later, it's looking like a repeat in Mid-Lakes. We've got that story and more when the High School Sports Beat continues.
Welcome back to the Vision High School Sports Beat. I'm Kim Burnson.
Making the grade this week is McQuaid senior Ben Beauchamp. Ben is a multi-sport athlete who excels in both baseball and football for the McQuaid Knights. He's a 3-year varsity starter in both sports and has been recruited by multiple colleges to join their programs. Aside from his drive to better himself athletically, Ben also puts a lot of time into his schoolwork, and it shows in the classroom because he carries a 91 academic average. Ben will further his education next year at the University of Albany, where he's committed to play baseball at the Division I level. Honored for being a well-rounded student-athlete for McQuaid, this week Ben Beauchamp is making the grade.
If you have a student in mind for our Making the Grade segment, we want your nominations. Send them into info@classywolf.com. And now here's Dave with the McArdles Section 5 Spotlight.
Thanks, Kim. Here are some of the athletes, teams, and coaches making news in this week's Section 5 Spotlight, brought to you by McArdles and Fairport. Come home to McArdles. The Hilton Cadets wrestling team lost in the finals of the New York State Dual Meet Championships, falling to Massapequa 41-29. The Cadets were up 26-18 before falling to the number 1 ranked team in the state. Congrats to HFL's cheerleading squad, who took first place at the Webster Battle of the Mats, earning the title of Grand Champions. And finally, Sierra Dillard became the fastest University of Buffalo women's player to reach 1,000 points, doing it in just her 53rd game. Dillard also totaled almost 800 points at UMass before transferring to the Bulls. Well, coming up next, Mid-Lakes girls basketball is looking to make another run at states. We'll have that story when the High School Sports Beat continues.
Came now to Eichel. He floated one. Score!
Welcome back, and thanks once again for joining us on the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. This segment of the High School Sports Beat is brought to you by the Injury Free Coalition and our friends at Leo's Bakery and Deli. Please remember to always wear your seatbelt in the front and back seats and to focus only on driving when behind the wheel of a car. This message courtesy of the Injury Free Coalition for Kids Smart Teen Driving Program and our friends at Leo's Bakery and Deli. The Mid-Lakes girls basketball team made it to the state semifinals last year, and with Elena Forbes leading the way, the Screaming Eagles are ready to go even further.
I'm ready for tomorrow. Good practice, all right? Okay, here we go. Family and three. 1, 2, 3, family. Get out of here.
You might think that after a season that saw the Mid-Lakes girls basketball team accomplish so many great things, there would be a sense of satisfaction, of a job well done. But it sounds more like it is a case of unfinished business, of good but not good enough. And that has spelled trouble so far for their opponents.
It's honestly just everyone's mindset. We all want the same thing. We all want to come back and win
redeem ourselves in the States.
It was a heck of a season last year. I mean, we won our first 25 games. We set a bunch of school records. So the girls have a lot to be proud of for what they accomplished last year. And I think this year's senior class wants to really leave their mark along with all the other girls that are contributing this year.
Well, we're just more using it as motivation. We want to win. We want to be that team at Mid Lakes that wins states. No Mid Lakes girls basketball team has ever won states.
If the state semifinal loss wasn't motivation enough, they would be sure to get plenty from the teams they face this season. The Screaming Eagles have gone from being the hunters to the hunted. The defending champ always has a target.
It's awesome. It's fun. It makes it more interesting. Every game we have to play hard. We can't slack off at a game because everybody's going to give us everything they got.
There's a lot of pressure, but I think we put it aside once we get on the court. We realize that we got to work really hard, and we push every second of the game to get to our goal, to get back to states.
It's going pretty good. We're trying to work harder in practices more than like we did last year because we have like more pressure than we had last year, and like everything that we're getting and stuff like feels really good, and it's just like a big accomplishment for our team.
Forbes is the engine that drives the Mid Lakes machine, averaging over 20 points a game. But it's not the shots she's making that is making the most difference. Sometimes it's the one she passes on.
Yeah, she definitely on the offensive side of the ball can help us go because she can get her shot off really at any time. I think it's her just finding good looks now. Her sophomore year from now, she's really matured in her shot selection and doing a better job of when she's double teamed, finding open teammates and getting them involved. She can score against just about any defender in the league. Now she's finding when she gets her teammates involved, those one-on-one opportunities are more often for her because she's got such talented teammates around her.
There's another part of her game that can't be overlooked. She is one of the top leaders in the section when it comes to steals, even if she doesn't know how she does it.
I just read people and I don't know, I just like come up with a steal and I don't even know how I get it some of the times. It just kind of happens and it's just like, okay.
Her coach is sure that she could find a spot on another team that would match her skills perfectly.
If she was a guy, she'd be a strong safety in football or a free safety in football. She just reads eyes really well and has great anticipation skills in the back line of our press, and she gets a lot of deflections. And when we have that ball pressure by the first couple of girls, that leads to a lot of floating passes and gives her those opportunities to get those steals and those breakaway opportunities.
Matching last year's success is a tall order. Mid Lakes knows that they have their work cut out for them.
It gets difficult at times, but like we push through it and we keep picking each other up and stuff. So like it's difficult, but we got it. We're trying to get it down.
Yeah, no matter what they do this year, they had the first league title in school history, the first sectional title since 1975, first Western Regional Championship ever. So they have a ton to be proud of already, and it's nice to see that they really want to go further than they went last year.
Make sure up and don't get behind you. So you're dropping back at Tuesday and bound, okay? One hard trap before is all we're looking for. One hard trap, if we get a steal, we're going for it. If not, drop back to the snake. Okay?
We'd like to thank our sponsors and especially the teams, coaches, and athletes who make the Sports Beat possible. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.
right? Look to attack once you get on that short baseline. Okay? Space. Drive. Elena gets it. You've got to find space. Don't sit in the... Let's go.